Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a flower pot cake. It's a cake decorated to look like a flower pot, and it has buttercream flowers on top of chocolate-covered pretzel stems rising high above the cake, making it super impressive. I'm also going to show you an easy and intermediate version as well, so you don't have to go this over the top. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe for new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. So let's get started. For the cake, you can use any cake recipe you like. I'm going with the chocolate fudge cake because it's a bit denser, which is great for stacking a tall and narrow cake like this one. So to make it, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Lightly grease two 6-inch round cake pans with softened butter or cooking spray. My pans are 3 inches tall. If yours are shorter, use 3 or 4 pans. Line each pan with a circle of parchment paper and set them aside for now. Then in a small bowl, add in the eggs that are at room temperature, sour cream, also at room temperature, and vanilla extract. Whisk them until they're combined, and set it aside for now. Then into a large bowl, add in the flour, sugar, dark brown sugar, Dutch processed or dark cocoa powder, baking soda, baking powder, and salt, and whisk them until they're well combined. It's fine if there's still lumps of brown sugar. Then into a small saucepan, add in the butter and water, and heat them on the stove over high heat until the butter is melted and the mixture comes to a boil. Then remove it from the heat, pour it into the dry ingredients, and mix them until they're combined. Then add in the egg and sour cream mixture, and mix it in just until it's combined. Try not to overmix the batter. Pour the batter evenly into the prepared pans. Shake and tap each pan to get rid of any big air bubbles. And bake them in the oven for 35 to 45 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean or mostly clean with a few moist crumbs. When they're done, remove them from the oven and let them cool for 15 minutes. Then what I like to do is cover them in plastic wrap while they're still very warm to keep the steam inside, and it makes them extra moist. Then you're going to need one recipe of my best ever vanilla buttercream frosting, but this time I used a bit less heavy cream to get a slightly stiffer frosting for the buttercream flowers. You want the frosting stiff enough so it holds its shape well. Divide the frosting into 3 separate bowls, adding a little more to one of them. Then the bowl with the most frosting, color it a brownish orange color. Try and use gel food coloring so it doesn't change the consistency of the frosting. Then the bowl with the least frosting, color it whatever color you would like the flowers to be. I'm choosing red. Then the last bowl is going to be for filling the cake. You can leave it plain or you can flavor it how you like. I'm adding finely crushed Oreos for a cookies and cream flavor. Once the cakes are completely cooled, remove the plastic wrap. Run a butter knife around the edges to loosen them from the pan. Turn them out of the pan and remove the parchment paper from underneath. Then trim the tops and cut them in half down the middle so you get a flat top and 4 cake layers. Spread a little frosting onto the cake board. Place the bottom of one of the cake layers onto the board, making sure it's centered. Add some of the cookies and cream frosting filling or whatever flavor you chose. Spread it out evenly. Add the next cake layer on top. Spread on some of the filling. Add the next cake layer. Spread on some more filling. Then add the last cake layer on top. Scrape off any filling that's hanging over the cake layers. Then cover the cake in a thin layer of the orange frosting. This is the crumb coat, which catches all the loose crumbs from the cake. It's not going to look nice at this point, don't worry. Then place the cake into the fridge for 30 minutes or the freezer for 10 minutes until the frosting is set and no longer sticky. Then remove it from the fridge or freezer and cover the cake in more frosting, smoothing it out as best as you can. Then place it back into the fridge or freezer until the frosting is set. Then remove it from the fridge or freezer. Then for the top rim or collar of the flower pot, spread a little more frosting around the top. Smooth it out. Then to get it flat on the bottom, place the offset spatula onto the sides underneath it. It should leave about an inch of space from the very top of the cake, and just use it as a guide to get rid of the extra frosting from the bottom. You can run the spatula under some hot water to get the sides nice and smooth. Then crush up some Oreos in a food processor to make them into fine crumbs. And sprinkle them on top to look like dirt. Spread it out so it covers the top. And then sprinkle some loose crumbs on top. Now for the buttercream flowers. For an easy version, place the colored frosting into a piping bag fitted with an open star tip, and pipe rosettes on top for the flowers. And you can use some green frosting to add leaves too if you like. Or for an intermediate version, you can make some roses using a flower nail and place them on top. Again, you can use some green frosting and pipe leaves too. Or for an advanced version, you can add roses on top of stems, and I'm going to show you how to do those. To make the stems, you're going to need white melting wafers. If you have ones that are already colored green, then use those. Then heat them in the microwave for 30 seconds. Take them out and stir them well. Microwave them for another 20 seconds. Take it out and stir. Then repeat 10 seconds and stir until they're completely melted. It is important to stir it as you heat it or it can burn. Once it's all melted, color it green using candy coloring. You can't use regular liquid or gel food coloring or it will make the chocolate seize. Then take some pretzel sticks, dip them into the melted chocolate. Spoon more over it so it's completely covered. Scoop it out using a fork. Tap it on the edge of the bowl to get rid of any excess. and place it onto a sheet of parchment paper and let it set. And you're going to need to join two together because one is not long enough. And keep going until you have enough for how many flowers you would like to make. I'm going with 6. Add a little more chocolate where the two pretzels join to make sure it's strong enough and they will hold together well. Then leave them until the chocolate is set. To make buttercream roses, here's all the tools you're going to need. You will need a baking tray, a flour nail, small squares of parchment paper, the colored frosting in a piping bag fitted with a petal tip, and a little more colored frosting in just a regular plastic bag with the corner cut off. To make the roses, use a little frosting on the flour nail so the parchment paper sticks to it. And pipe a small cylinder of frosting into the center. Then with the wider end of the piping tip facing down, start from the bottom and pipe up and around and back down, spinning the flour nail as you go to make the center of the flower. Then to make the petals, hold the piping bag on a slight angle, leaning the top towards the middle, and pipe up and back down. Do it a couple more times until you go around it once. Then the next time around, hold the piping bag straight and add a few more petals, adding enough to go around it once. Then next, hold the piping bag on an angle with the top leaning out and add more petals going all the way around. And that's your buttercream rose. Use the parchment paper to take it off the flour nail and place it onto a baking tray. Then keep making more flowers to your desired amount. If you like, you can make extras and choose the best looking ones. And any that you mess up on or don't like the look of, you can scrape the frosting back into the bag and do it again. Once you have all your flowers, place them into the freezer until they're well chilled and solid. Then take the chocolate-covered pretzel stems and stick them into the cake. Then take a candy melt, dip it into the melted chocolate, and stick it onto the top of each stem, holding it until it stays in place. Then leave it until the chocolate is completely set. Then remove the buttercream flowers from the freezer. And now that they're frozen, you can peel them off the parchment paper. Dip the bottom of them into the melted chocolate. This is to create a strong base for them so they stay up when they come back to room temperature. And place them onto the top of the stems. Keep going for the rest. And leave them until the chocolate is set. And you have an impressive looking flower pot cake. And that's how to make a flower pot cake. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give this video a like and check out my channel for many more videos and subscribe to my channel for more to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.